Hi everyone, it's Marcy. It's Book Talk Sunday. I know you're excited. We've been doing this all summer. I think we're at like week 8 or week 9 of Book Talk Sunday. I'm very excited. My Sundays don't seem to be complete without some sort of video about a book. So this week I decided that we're going to talk about Tara Westover's memoir called Educated, which was New York Times, one of the 10 best books of 2018. It was also on President Barack Obama's favorite books of the year in 2018, and it was selected for the Bill Gates holiday reading list. The list of accolades that this book received is quite long. Tara Westover's gotten a lot of press about the memoir, and well-deserved, actually. This was I originally read this book or listened to this book as an audiobook. The voice actress who read it was Julia Whalen, I believe, and she did a phenomenal job. And then I read it as a paper, as a hardcover, because I wanted to review it for teaching. I teach 11th and 12th grade English in a local Long Island high school, and I really wanted to get this on the curriculum for our college English 12th grade English class. So it's freshman comp, basically freshman comp 1 and 2 from college that the kids take as seniors at our high school. And I really wanted to get this on the curriculum. So it's an unforgettable memoir about a young girl who grew up in Idaho on a mountain in a family with 7 brothers and sisters. Her dad was of a survivalist, kind of paranoid set, and he owned a junkyard, and the kids all worked there, and they were very off the grid, about as off the grid as humanly possible, to a degree that I've never heard of before. The kids were homeschooled. She was the youngest and had never stepped foot into a classroom until she was 17 years old. The only formal, that was a motorcycle just went by, it was very loud. The only formal high school, the only formal education she had was when she got accepted to college. And they didn't see medical attention, and they didn't have her birth certificates, and they were like severely off the grid. Like, Dad thought that there was some sort of conspiracy theory going on, and he wanted himself and his family safe on the mountain. And she was abused by and beaten up and brutalized by older brothers, and there was nobody around to save her. Their mom was a midwife and an herbalist, and even after the most severe injuries that the kids and the father underwent, car accidents with head trauma that the mother underwent, she nursed them all back to health with these herbs that and these tinctures that she created. I'm just going to read to you a little thing that I wrote to our school district here to have it added to the curriculum. They were thinking about adding it to the middle school curriculum, which I really didn't think was appropriate. Sure, middle school kids could get through this, but I really didn't think that it was suitable. So I said that I heard that someone asked you about acquiring the memoir Educated by Tara Westover for college English for next year, and that you were considering it for middle school. I must strongly object to its addition to the middle school curriculum and advocate for its addition to the college English curriculum for 12th grade high school. It's Lexile Level 870L, which is suitable for 14 to 17-year-olds, but after having read it, I know for a fact that no middle school student would get the nuance and value of growth and self-directed freedom that a high school or college student would get. It is the perfect book to give them, to explore with them before they embark on their own self-directed journeys into their futures. The balance of loyalty to one's family and community with loyalty to oneself is very important. And the ultimate value of education is truly seeing the world that we live in and finding your own place in it. I mean, that's really the purpose of things. Middle school kids would be fixated on the physical abuse Tara Westover endured at the hands of her father and older brother, but would not understand the more subtle, more powerful emotional abuse she suffered at the hands of her other family and the doctrines of the Mormon Church. They will not understand the historical, humanist, and feminist philosophies of Wollstonecraft, Descartes, Hume, Hobbes, de Beauvoir, Locke, and others that helped Tara claim her own education, control her own thought and body, and thus claim her own right to choose her own life. And isn't this the purpose of education? Isn't this the exact thing we are asserting to our seniors in their college English classes as they are about to embark on the world of higher education and begin to claim their own lives? The bigger story is not of physical abuse, even alien views of others and making sense of them, enabled her to fight for her freedom and individuality, and that is the purpose of education. Somehow, even the young Tara Westover knew that the only way that she would escape the mountain, that she would escape her father's undiagnosed bipolarity and paranoia, was education. And she landed in the good graces of quite a few people who helped her along the way, got her into college, Brigham Young, and got her to Oxford in England, and she studied at Harvard, and she kept winning scholarships, and it paid for stuff, and she, in order to claim her own life, had to come to terms with abandoning her family and all they were worth, and all of their influence and the effects that they had on her life. And although she tried to go back and have a relationship with some of her family members, I think that she was able to, if I remember correctly, maintain a relationship with one of her older brothers and his wife and kids, but not with the rest of her family. They didn't understand her choices. They didn't understand, that she wasn't brainwashed by the rest of society. I think that she had some very hard choices to make. And I think that although this is an extreme, I think that we all face these choices too. Where do you draw the line between family loyalty and loving your parents and your siblings and your family of origin, and at the same time establish your independence and individuality? How do you do that? I know that in Permission to Land, I tried to do this too, that I had a very hard time separating myself from my mother's toxic bipolarity and her narcissism, and felt pulled and guilty over trying to establish my life for myself and my own individuality. It took me a very long time to get to the point where I was just, kind of drew the line in the sand, like this is where it is. And for me, I did it incrementally throughout my 20s, and then didn't really fully do it until 2012. So I was 44, I guess, 44 years old. It's hard to do the math. And it was only because of my kids, because I think I probably would have felt guilty enough to endure the toxicity and the push and the pull of my mother's bipolarity and my mother's addiction and the belligerence and alteredness that she became. I think I would have withstood that if it weren't for my kids. And I saw how terrified they were when she became that Cruella de Vil personality. And because of them, I knew I needed to do something good, something hard and fast. And I gave my mother options, and she chose the bad option, and we never saw her again. But I needed it to end the intergenerationality of her addiction and the mental illness and how that was going to affect them. I needed to stop it. And Tara did that for herself too. She knew she needed to stop the abuse. She needed to stop her parents and her family from overrunning and overpowering her, and claim a life for herself. And I don't, I obviously don't know her, so I don't know how she's come to terms with that. I mean, maybe she'll write a sequel and she'll let us know. But she transformed. It says metamorphosis. You could call this selfhood many things: transformation, metamorphosis, falsity, betrayal. I call it an education. It really is a must read. It's a phenomenal book. And it's available in all forms. You know, you can do audiobook, hardcover, softcover, ebook, whatever. It's everywhere. I should be so lucky someday that my book is as popular as this one. Anyway, so that's Educated by Tara Westover. And just to talk again, we've got Permission to Land, Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging. It's available everywhere books are sold. I strongly urge you to read it. I think that it's going to be quite inspiring for other people to read my story about how I struggled with dealing with my mom's bipolarity and drug addiction, and how I learned to trust my inner voice and claim a life for myself, and build the life of love, home, and belonging that I needed, that we all need. And then my second book, which is the companion journal to Searching for Love, Home, and Belonging, is Permission to Land, Personal Transformation Through Writing. And there's over 100 pages of guided writing prompts to help you journal your way into making peace with your past and being present and mindful in your present, and charting out, trusting your inner self as you embark on your future. These are all the same questions I asked myself when I was writing Permission to Land and going through more than 35 years of journal entries to make peace with myself and ultimately my family. Anyway, so that's that. Thanks for joining me for Book Talk Sunday. I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your weekend, and I'll see you around soon.